Okay. I literally think I only have about, hold on, let me clip this on here. I literally have like 10 minutes to make this video before I get dumped on. Today, we're gonna talk about No Mow May, my 2 cents, and how I believe it can actually help you depending on the situation of your lawn. When it comes to having a nice, well-manicured lawn in the month of May, you have one of 2 options. You can either mow as much as possible, or you can let it go for the entire month and focus on a well-balanced fertility program to help it thicken up. What I wanted to do is I wanted to take a minute and share with you guys a real-life story where I kind of accidentally practiced No Mow May at my grandma's house and how it went. So last year at my grandma's, I did not mow that lawn at all until the end of May. So this is what the JTLK Turf Fertilizer program will do to your lawn if you partake in No Mow May. This is our lawn, this is the neighbor's. And what I did instead is I focused on my fertilization program, my JTLK plan, which I often talk about a lot in my vlogs and my videos, and we have a lot of products that we carry in the Jake the Lawn Kid shop that are actually similar to the products in the plan to give you outstanding results. If you want to check those out, I'll leave those right here. I often like to link to the products I recommend you stock up on for future videos where I'm going to teach you about those and how to have the deepest, darkest, greenest, thickest lawn in the block. So I figured I would throw that out there. Anyway, I digress. So I didn't mow her lawn at all until the end of May. But what I did beforehand is I went ahead and got down my pre-emergent last year, which was a 1500 Dimension. Now, that's pretty similar to what I did this year, although instead of prodiamine, I did the Dimension blend because that was all my supplier had. Now, I did that in April, and I blanket sprayed T-Zone, which, as I've talked about before, it's an ester-based weed control that has 2,4-D in it, as well as sulfentrazone, which is really good on sedges. So it's a great weed control to spray in the springtime when temperatures are a little cooler. Not so much when they're hot, because it is more susceptible to volatilization and drifting and damaging ornamentals. But during the springtime, when it is a little cooler than normal, it is a really good weed control. Anyway, sprayed that down, didn't do a thing until late May. I showed up in late May, and that lawn was super tall. It was literally up to my knees, about well over, if I had to guess, 2 feet of growth. Just to give you guys an idea for how tall this is my arm, and this is where the seed heads come up. I mean, this is pretty tall, almost to the point where you got to watch out for them copperheads. And it honestly got to the point where if I didn't cut it that day, my grandma was going to get a ticket from the city. Like, that's how good it was looking. But on the positive side, there are no weeds. There are no weeds at all. I already know what you're thinking. Jake, what does this have to do with No Mow May? Well, I can tell you right now, No Mow May, as you guys know, is a common practice in lawn care, not so much by lawn care enthusiasts, but by people who let their lawns go completely. It's a good way to let those flowered weeds come up to create a breeding ground, if you will, for pollinators. So this kind of ties into my way of thinking with No Mow May, okay? In May, there's 2 schools of thought. You can double down on your mowing, literally mow your lawn as much as possible at the desired height. By doing that, you're going to even out the playing field, you're going to keep things nice, you're going to keep things kempt. Or you can let the lawn go, let it grow as tall as possible, and then come June 1st, whack it down. I can tell you right now the benefits of both. If you have a lawn that's well established, like mine, my bluegrass in the back here, I don't know if my bluegrass in the back here, which has been here for 15 years, it has looked really, really good with regular, frequent mowing. Now, honestly, I don't mow it as frequently as I used to because I mow it with my professional mower whenever I get off the work week, and it looks really good. I mow it once a week, and I whack off sometimes, in some weeks actually, 50% or more, even though I don't want to. But ideally, if you were going to be an enthusiast about it, I would definitely recommend 2 to 3 times a week. And on top of that, focus on a well-balanced fertilizer program. The other school of thought is to not do any mowing for the entire month and just focus on the fertilizer program. Now, the situation where I find this to be beneficial is if you're dealing with a lawn that isn't sufficiently thick in any way, shape, or form. right? Maybe it's brand new construction, maybe it's very patchy. Could definitely use an overseeding in the fall if possible. This is a situation where I would just say double, triple, quadruple down on your fertilization and weed control practices. Let it grow as tall as possible. Let those crowns come up, if you will. Let that foundation come a little bit higher, and then just whack it down. Now, as far as whacking it down, you don't have to whack it down to the ground with mowing height. You could literally jack your lawnmower up to the tallest setting and just whack it down. I can't tell you guys the amount of times I've done this with bluegrass lawns, fescue lawns, ryegrass lawns up here in Northwest Indiana, where I would just let them grow for an entire month. Project lawns, that is, not client lawns. If I were to do this in my business, I'd probably be fired. But project lawns, I would just let them grow like almost a foot in height, and then I would just whack them down with my mower come June 1st, and it would look a little rough for a while, because when you do cut off that much in one mowing, you are going to stunt the growth. That's why we often talk about the 1/3 rule. But when you do it on a lawn that, you know, really needs it, like one that's not sufficiently thick, one that doesn't really stand tall in a crowd, if you will, you'll start to notice over time, after you whack it down and you start mowing it regularly, once a week, maybe twice a week, 3 times a week if you want to be super ambitious about it, I could tell you the tables will turn literally that quick. Within that next month of regular mowing and a well-balanced program in conjunction with it and good irrigation practices, I'm telling you, it's really amazing how quickly you can turn a lawn around. And that's what happened with my grandma's lawn. You know, my grandma's lawn has been mowed short for longer than I can remember, since I was very, very young, probably since before I was around. But when I took over and I decided, you know what, I'm not going to cut it at all the entire month, I'm just going to do my program on it and then whack it down in May, I could tell you that lawn has never stood taller, has never been thicker, has never been greener, and more weed-free than it is now. Like literally, people in that neighborhood, I don't even service, she lives in Crete, Illinois. I don't service Illinois as of right now. I'm working on it because I think it might be a cool opportunity for my spray business, but it's turning heads and people are asking. So, what's the message of this? If your lawn is thin, it's not standing tall in a crowd of other lawns, let it grow for the entire month. See what happens. If you can get away with it, of course. I know there's HOAs and all this other stuff, but if you can get away with it, just give it a try. You'd be surprised with the results. If you guys would like to learn about the aspects of having the deepest, darkest, greenest, thickest lawn on the block, I recommend you check out this video right here. And if you want more live teaching, especially with cool season lawns like Kentucky bluegrass, rye, and fescue, then I recommend you subscribe to the channel right here, because that, my friends, is literally 90% of what we talk about. I will show you guys how to get the bluest bluegrass you could possibly get. So, subscribe. There's plenty here for you. We'd love to have you.